Please welcome Glenn Williams.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. We got a packed house today, and you can tell they're excited, so thank you for being here. We're excited to have you with us. This is the final Primerica Live of 2024, and this is a very special program. It's a 90-minute program, and it's specifically designed to maximize your momentum as we head into the last 15 days of 2024 so that you can shatter even more records than we've shattered already this year. And in addition to that, it's designed to accelerate your success as we head into 2025, and you can make sure that those records you're setting in 2024 become your averages next year. And I believe we have the perfect team of leaders to accomplish that today. First of all, from our home office to provide us with the information we need to accomplish all that, I'll be joined by our President, Peter Schneider, and our Chief Marketing and Innovation Officer, Julie Seman. Give them a hand if you would, please. And then to provide the inspiration to go along with the information, we have superstar field leaders like no others. Today we're going to be joined by Senior National Sales Director, $1.1 million earner, Circle of Champions member, the great Mike Evans. In addition, also Senior National Sales Director and also $1.1 million Circle of Champions member, the great Nikole Galanes. And then also we have joining us Senior National Sales Director, $2.9 million earner and Circle of Champions member, Bill Whittle. Give Bill a hand if you would. But let's kick off today, since it's our last chance together, to make sure that we recognize important income milestones of our field leaders. That's the way we kick off every Primerica Live. We're going to do that here on the last show today. And what an amazing testament to this great business opportunity. In the last 7 days, just since last Monday's program, we've had 7 new first-time $100,000 earners, one a day at Primerica, added each and every day. Let's congratulate these 7. Congratulations to Freddie Contreras and Lusana Omana. Congratulations to Kamini Leston and Joshua Hunter, Tori and Angela Staten, Franelise Gonzalez and Julio Mayor, Kalpesh and Purvi Patel, Manny and Clarissa Servillon, and Tom and Ayala Brousseau. Give those 7 a hand if you would, please. So that's 7 in 7 days, new first-time $100,000 earners added to, we're approaching 5,000 $100,000 earners at Primerica. We'll probably go over that number next week or week after. But in addition to 7 $100,000 earners, we also had 7 $100,000 earners that added diamonds to their rings in the last 7 days. So let's recognize those, including 2 at the $300,000 full ownership level. Congratulations to Brady and Jennifer Mann and Stephen and Darlene Cooley. Then at the 7th diamond, $700,000 in personal cash flow in the last 12 months. Congratulations to Olivier and Hamina Brudas. Now at 15 diamonds, $1.5 million in personal cash flow in the last 12 months. Put your hands together for Chris Achong. At 16 diamonds, $1.6 million in the last year. Congratulations to Jorge and Mary Fanal. And at $2.5 million in personal cash flow in the last 12 months, congratulations to the great Gus and Joanna Gonzalez. But then that 7th additional diamond earner is somebody special because they are our 21st million-dollar earners to crack that barrier during the year of 2024. Now at 150 total million-dollar earners at Primerica. Put your hands together for number 150, the great Whitney and Rob Cooper. Thank you for sharing in those milestones. Congratulations to all those great leaders. We'll have more before the end of the year. We'll pick them up and recognize them as we kick off 2025. But congratulations to all of our milestone earners. You know, right now we're in the middle, right in the middle of Domination December. And there's some key incentives in play that you can put to work to add excitement to your business. Nothing can replace your leadership, but you can add excitement to that leadership with the incentives that the company puts together. So the first one I want to remind you of is our leadership event coming up next year, but we're competing between November and May. I'm sorry, this will be an August event next year. 1,225 couples coming together at the Gaylord Pacific Resort in San Diego, California. We're competing right now for that great event. You can see from the photos, it's a great destination. We'll be one of the first groups to occupy that great resort. It's a brand new resort. And so you're fighting for that, but in addition, you got a little icing on the cake this month because there's an opportunity this month to dominate and earn a patch. You go out and do one recruit times 1,000 in premium or a recruit times 10,000 in securities volume. You can earn a Breakaway to the Bay patch. Now you may be wondering, what do you do with a Breakaway to the Bay patch? But it's important that you be aware of that because if you join us, or maybe when you join us in San Diego next August, there is a possibility if you walk across the stage that you could qualify for this bomber jacket. And you can see this bomber jacket has patches on the side right here, see? And you can put your Breakaway for the Bay patch on there. There's one right there. That's what it looks like. Now, your jacket might not say Glenn Williams CEO on it, but it'll look just like this. And you're competing for that. When you compete to be with us in San Diego, the patches go on the jacket. So should there be additional opportunities for patches in the future, you know what that's all about. And make sure that you're focused on that to add excitement to your business. But then we've got other recognition that we'll be doing in San Diego. A brand new class of the future is competing right now. And those that qualify for the future and also win the San Diego trip will be recognized at San Diego with that jersey for 2025. So you're competing for that as well. And then for the first time ever, we've got a securities contest or leadership event or incentive trip going on at the exact same time as our company-wide incentive. So we've got the reach for the peak, competing for the same time. The trip's a little earlier. It's actually a month earlier in July of next year, going to Whistler, BC. Unbelievable destination. There's another opportunity. Then for recruiters and recruits, we always want to provide a reason for recruiters to be out talking to potential recruits. So remember, this month there's an opportunity to qualify for an additional $50 field training bonus credit by downloading the Primerica app within 24 hours of the IBA. That's just a little icing on the cake there as well. And then we're in the final month of a whole bunch of competitions that we kicked off earlier in the year. There's a record breakers opportunity to qualify for the championship belt or the boxing gloves, the medallion, the pin. There's the 2%er shirts, both the t-shirt and the golf shirt. Championship banners with your team's names on it. Circle of Champions has been expanded and extended for an additional month. So all that's in play. And to me, that means that among all that list, there's something in there that every leader ought to have something to challenge their team with. But as we were thinking about being in the final 15 days of 2024, we wanted to make sure you could end with an explosion of momentum right now that also filled the pipeline for 2025. So I'm making the announcement today. From today through the end of the month of December, the IBA licensing fee is reduced to $49 starting right now. So that gives you a real reason as recruiters to go out and talk to recruits. Now listen, at $99, the IBA licensing fee is the greatest deal in the financial services industry. There is no other company out there that will get you in business with everything you need for an insurance license in your state or province for $99. But I can tell you there's sure nobody that'll do it but for $49 except Primerica between now and the end of the month. So that's real value. You can go out. It's also a limited time, which gets us as human beings that are natural procrastinators onto our feet and out working, getting excited, talking to people, put us in action and gets us moving. And it really does allow you to fill the pipeline for 2025. So it's a great incentive that does all the right things to move your business, and I believe it's the perfect incentive for right now. So that means you need to know when the month of December ends for submitting business. So here's December month end. It's coming up on the first business day of January. So that's Thursday, January the 2nd, 2025 at 12 midnight. Make sure you're using every minute between now and then that's appropriate to build your business. But then in addition to that, even though this is the final live broadcast, there's plenty of communications that's going to be happening over the next 2 weeks. As we look on this slide, you'll notice that between December 17 and January 6, there'll be special text and video messages going out from the company to the entire sales force to keep you plugged in. We don't do it on a regular schedule because we know people are busy during the holidays. We're busy during the holidays, getting ready for the holidays as well as the new year. And so we wanted to give you more flexibility, so we're going to be shooting out text messages. Now, to get those text messages, you've got to be opted in. And so to opt in at Primerica is very simple. You text the word WIN, W-I-N, lowercase, uppercase, any case, it doesn't matter. Okay, you text the word WIN to 73513 and you're automatically opted in. Now I talk to a lot of people that don't know if they're opted in. So here's the way to make sure that you know. Just text WIN to 73513 anyway. It doesn't matter if you've already done it. Nobody comes to your house and says something ugly about you if you didn't. I did it again this morning just to check, and all it does is said, hey, you're already opted in. So you text it. It doesn't, if you don't know or whether you know or not, just text it again. Make sure you're plugged in and we can communicate with you. Then, of course, on January 7th to 8th, the senior leadership meeting. We'll be talking more about that. Our great Canadian teammates are packing the house for their kickoff events at the beginning of January. We'll have other great broadcasts here in January as well, and then we'll get together at the end of February in Orlando for our leadership event there. It's going to be a ton of fun, a lot of things to do. We're going to get 2025 off to a strong start. But the best way to get it started is at that senior leadership meeting. Taking place in Dallas, Texas from the 7th to the 8th. You've seen all the details before. We have people still working to get over that $250,000 minimum cash flow requirement to be there. But just look at this next slide, folks. We've been doing this event since the beginning of 2013. And at that time, we thought we were doing something special when we had $250,000 earners to qualify. Well, this year, right now, we're at 929, over 3 times the number we started with. And that includes 109 leaders that this is the first time they've been over 250 and qualified to come, including 18 Canadians. This is going to be our biggest and best leadership event ever, and I'm so excited to kick off the year with this great team of leaders. Speaking of Canadians, just remind you, you kick off the event. You have the first session at the event. Make sure you're there in time to join that on Tuesday, January 7th at 11:30, and then the regular session will start after that. And in 2025, we've already declared our focus. And we said as part of the Decade of Dominance, the 5th year of the Decade of Dominance, that we are going to be focused on leaders building leaders. That's what our focus is this year, leaders building leaders. And I can tell you, there's a lot of teaching, a lot of coaching, a lot of information and inspiration that goes around that. And so it's going to be a great time to focus on that throughout the year. But I get asked once in a while, Glenn, so what do you do? What's the purpose of the senior leadership meeting? So here's the purpose statement. It's one of the first slides I'll share in January with our senior leaders. The purpose of this event is to unify our commitment toward leaders building leaders, to achieve accelerated growth, multiplied success, and increased balance and alignment to create our best year yet in 2025, which is actually our 6th year of the Decade of Dominance. That's what we'll be doing. But that's what those leaders are going to come home and talk to you about. If you don't qualify, you're not going to miss it because you're going to hear it when your leader gets home. You've also got a chance to plug into the meeting while it's going on. On my final slide, RVP Locker Room to kick off the month of January and kick off 2025. We'll be coming to you live from the senior leadership meeting. Starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So you can see that, you can plug into it and make sure that you can be a fly on the wall for the first part of that event. And then, of course, the senior leaders will continue together. I'm honored to be on that show along with Julie Seman and the great Chris Koob. So that's going to be a great, great way to kick off that event and kick off that year. But now that we've got all of that information out of the way, it's time to turn to some of the inspiration. And to kick us off, we've got one of the most inspiring leaders anywhere in Primerica. He is a senior national sales director, $1.1 million earner, and also one of the best dancers at Primerica. Let's hear it for the great Mike Evans!
Let me see what's up over here. Come on, girl, give me something right there. Give me a little rock, give me a little rock.
This is how we do it.
Let me see what's up with this crowd. Let me see what's up with this crowd. What's up with y'all over here? Yes. Oh. Let's go. Here y'all are, here y'all are, here y'all are. Y'all right here, y'all right here.
This is how we do it. It's Friday night. Night feel alright. The party's here on the west side. So I reach for my phone.
All right. Let's go. It ain't nothing like Primerica, man. I'm just telling you. Hey, first of all, I want to give some PhD, some praise, honor, and glory. I want to thank God for blessing us to be here one more time, to be able to lift them up and give them an opportunity to win. But team, first of all, on behalf of Regina and I, Regina has blessed me so many years to be with me, to when I finally started listening to her. So those of you all who have partners, sometimes you don't listen all the time, but when you do listen, they do bring some stuff that can make a difference. And so, Regina, I want to thank you very much for all that you've done over the years to help us move and grow this business. But on behalf of Regina and I, we want to thank Glenn. We want to thank Peter. We also want to thank Bobby. We want to thank Peter, Bobby, Julie, and John. Let me tell you why. Because they do some things that we don't even know that's happening. They work hard, and with the amazing organization that they have supporting them, which is the entire home office, they get things done. When you're sleeping, when you're chilling, they're getting it done. And I just want to let you know that makes a major, major difference for all that they do here at home office. I also want to thank the AALC, the African American Leadership Council, led by Ivan Earl and John Lennon, and the entire executive board, along with the council and our newest liaisons, Miss Amanda Ann Key, supporting us now, moving this deal along. I want to thank all of them for what they do and how they poured into us. But also, I want to thank our future Vice President-elect, which is Renee Turner. Renee Turner and I will be taking over the AALC, and so I'm excited about that partnership and where we're getting ready to go with the team. But we are planning, we have our 25th, I'm talking about our 25th anniversary in the ALC that's kicking off April 25th through the 27th in Orlando. So I'm telling you all, those of you all who are not registered for that, make sure you get registered by December 31st. Get registered for that to make a difference so that you're in for the count when we do recognition. So I want to plug that. But also I want to thank our uplines, the Davises. I want to thank the Tomers, and I also want to thank the Saffers for all that they've done pouring into us. You just heard what Glenn talked about, leaders developing leaders, and that's a big, big deal. Those individuals have poured into us over and over and over for the years. But then I want to thank my hierarchy. I want to thank the hierarchy, the Base Shop and the Evans Extreme Dream Team hierarchy. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the Base Shop promoting vice presidents and the vice presidents promoting vice presidents to end up being where we are today. As a result of that, we're led by 4 different divisions. My division as an MDE, but also the great Joe and Militia Ward, that division as an MDE, and then Jeff and Lolita Mallard, and then coming behind that, Mika and Janelle Saunders coming right behind that, which is a big deal. And we got 3 to 4 more coming out in 2025. So I'm excited about that, you all, about having those individuals that's lifting us up and taking us to another level. So what I want to do right now is I want to just jump right in. But sometimes people say they already know your story, but I'll give my story very, very quickly. And to give my story, I'll tell you, I went to Northern Illinois University. I met a guy named Deacon Davis, and Deacon was the athletic director of the university at that time. And he left the university 2 years before I graduated and got here with A.L. Williams, which is now Primerica, in Rockville, Illinois, about 30 minutes away from my school. I graduated and got recruited as a contract negotiator, selling parts to the B-1 bomb and mixed missile space shuttle. They're paying me $24,000. This is back in 1984, 85, $24,000. I bump into Deacon at a church, and he asked me, Mike, hey, how you doing? What you doing? What's going on? I said, yeah, Deacon, I'm over here at Sunstrand, you know. He said, that's great, great. Who's handling your finances? That's like somebody asks you, how much do you weigh? You know, I'm like, who's handling my finances? I said, Deacon, I said the student loan people, the credit card people, the car loan people, and the rent people. That's who handling my finances, okay? And he said, well, do you have a retirement plan? I said, I got something with a 4 in it. I don't know how it works, but they taking some money out of my check. He said, oh, that's a 401k. So he sat down and gave me the deal and showed me. I tell people there are seven points I want to deliver to you all about delivering individuals, leaders building leaders. And I'm going to show you what he said to me that helped me get to where I am right now. So it's so many leaders that have poured into us over the years that I want you to understand it. So check this out. The 7 points, and I'm going to come back to what Deacon said to me so you can take some good notes, but the 7 points I want to focus on, Glenn just talked about, is number 1, you got to be focused on recruiting. Anytime you're talking about growing anybody, you can't grow if you ain't getting no recruits. Anything that you're doing trying to build something, you got to make sure you're growing the number, so you want to grow the deal, so that recruiting is number 1. Also, number 2 is, you know, it's so simple. Somebody going to probably say, I know that already, but why ain't you doing it? Or why ain't you doing more of it? My team said, Coach Evans, why you keep talking to us about this? The 7 points you keep telling us about. Recruiting and then get somebody licensed. You got to get them licensed. You can recruit all day long, but if you don't get somebody licensed, it's not going to matter. That's an asset when you get that person licensed. But then you got to get those individuals to producing. You got to get them independent where they can actually do it on their own. You got to go over and over and over with them until they got it. But after getting them producing, you better get them to be a district leader by or before that time so they can taste that 50% contract. Get them promoted to district leader. But then after district leader, we need to find somebody that want to be a field trainer. Every district leader is not going to be a field trainer. Don't break your back on that. Everybody not going to be one. But those who decide, get them to be field trainers, and when they become field trainers, I'm telling you, that's the next best position besides an RVP. Get to be field trainers, but then after field trainer, you want to get a security license. You can't do buy term and invest different just with an insurance license. You need both licenses, so you need to do both. So I want to challenge you to make sure those people who are getting into business, get them both licensed, and then after security license, who wants to be a regional vice president? So we got to decide, that's the deal. So it takes me back to let you understand, Deacon asked me these questions. He said, Mike, let me ask you this. So first off, he said, Mike, so let me ask you, so what do you do? I said, I'm a contract negotiator over at Sunstrand. He said, do you plan on retiring from there? I said, no. He said, are they paying you all the money you need to make to hit the kind of goals and dreams you have? I said, no. He said, if they were, what are some goals and dreams do you have that's going to cost money? I said, I'd like to get a second car, get a house, send my children to school, retire early, eliminate our debt, go into business for ourselves, help my parents, and take vacations going someplace other than driving down south, right? I said, I ain't never driving down south again. That's what we did all growing up. I ain't never doing it. I'm telling you right now. If I get down, I'm going to fly. I ain't driving down there. I'm telling you right now. I ain't doing it. He said, so what do you think you need to make a year, all right? So I'm thinking I'm making $25,000. I'm trying to be impressive, Sam, to tell my wife, you know, Virginia's sitting there. Dick said, what do you think you need to make? I said, it's about $75,000, Dick. You know, give me about 75, 3 times my income. I'm feeling good about it. Virginia asked me if I plan on being by myself. 75,000. No, bro, you better tell that guy. You better tell him 150, 200. Let me tell you something. He said, Mike, understands, I never said 200,000 in my life. And she said, tell him 200,000, Dick. Dick, 200,000. He then asked me a major question, you all. He said, how long is it going to take the company you work for to pay you 200,000? I said, never. This is recruiting, you all. I'm talking about the first thing, recruiting. How long is it going to take? I said, they're never going to pay me. He said, I run into people every day. They got goals and dreams like this, income is like this. So what we want to do is show you how to bridge the gap between your current take-home income and your future goals and dreams. Flex schedule. You don't have to call us on the phone, coughing the can, acting like you're sick. If you don't feel like working this week, don't work this week. You ain't got to call talking about your auntie died again. You told us that 3 months ago. You ain't got to do that. But he said, you can work with us part-time and earn some additional income without having to quit your job. Or you can take advantage of what we call the influencer position. Our influencer position is where you get certified by the state. You know, everybody want to be an influencer right now, right? So you could be an influencer with our company, get certified by the state, and just make referrals. You don't have to do any appointments, no presentation, just make a referral, and we'll pay you half of that particular transaction in the areas that you're certified in. And that's what he told me. So when I think about all the things that he told me, and we're talking about, Glenn said we want to talk about leaders building leaders, this is what they told me. This is what they did out of those 7 points, but it reminds me of a story real quick to help you understand how big a deal it is when we build these leaders. The story it reminds me of is, has any of you ever been on a cruise? Anybody ever been on a cruise? Well, it was an 85-year-old man. He wanted to go on a cruise. He had never been on a cruise. His granddaughter said, I'm going to take you on a cruise. She took him on a cruise. He was excited. He couldn't believe all the things that was happening on the cruise ship. He was like, man, they flying from, what do you call when they fly from one side to the other side? What do you call that? Zip line. He said they was zip lining. He said they was on this little thing in the water. They was surfing on the thing. He said they was skating. They was basketball. They was sweet. He said, I couldn't believe they could do all this stuff. He said he on the Lido deck, and all of a sudden, he said he heard something go splash. And everybody was like, what was that? And they went to the side. It was a 7-year-old girl had fell in the ocean. And everybody was going crazy. What was going on? And all of a sudden, you heard another splash. And when all the commotion was over, come to find out it was the 85-year-old man who actually saved the little girl. The parents were pumped up, excited about it. The captain was really excited, so he didn't lose nobody on his watch, right? And they said, we're going to have a He's a Jolly Good Fellow party. And when they had the He's a Jolly Good Fellow party, they said, speech, speech, speech. And the old man came up there. He had the mic, and he was shaking it like this. And they said, say something. He said, all I have to say is, who pushed me? Who pushed? So he said, I was just looking there, I was down looking like this, and all of a sudden somebody there got pushed me, and I fell in the water, and they making him a hero. But I'm trying to let you understand who's the hero. The hero is my mother, my father, my uncle, my teachers, my mentor, all the people that's behind you, that's pushing you. Don't be alarmed because somebody pushed you a little bit. You got to get, you can't be who you want to be if you don't get pushed. So I want you to know, you got to get pushed. My mama asked me a question, are you the one, or shall we look for another one? We got to find some people that's going to push some people because we got pushed to take us to the next level. So I'm challenging you all. Here we get ready to go into the next year. Do you have your team goals set in place? We got 17 days before this month is over with. What are you going to get done in the next 17 days? You got to go into the new year on fire. On fire. You got to have some momentum. You got to go recruit right now. Glenn just announced. What did Glenn just say? How much did he say the IBA is?
49.
I wanted to make sure I didn't want to come out here and say it because I'm in the back. I didn't hear him say it, so I didn't want to say it before he said it. But $49, somebody gonna do some recruiting this month. Somebody gonna get some recruiting done this month. I want to go play to win. Let's send a message. I'll see you at the top.
Please welcome Julie Seman.
Yeah.
Oh, you killed it, babe. I love you.
This is how we do it.
Woo, man, I don't know about you guys. Man, I am fired up. Woo! Give it up for the incredible Mike Evans. Man, I'll tell you what, if that's any indication of what 2025 is going to look like, we are all in the right place at the right time. All right, guys, so listen. I don't know, but man, and Mike just talked about it, Glenn announced it. We've got a $49 IVA to close out this year, right? A year of record-setting momentum where, man, did we recruit the right people, because we've got more licenses in this company than we have ever had before. We hit that 150,000 life license representative goal. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Well, I want to talk to you today a little bit more about licensing. I want to talk to you about life insurance and investments, our mortgage program, and our technology teammates, because I'm telling you, we are working hard to deliver for you so that your goals, so that your dreams, so that you can execute here at Primerica to not only change your own life, but to change all the lives of those clients out there, prospects that you have not even met yet. So let's get started. Let's talk about licensing, teammates. Of course, we are focused on 200K, right? The 200K takeover. Glenn was quick to announce that. Actually started talking about it before we even hit 150,000 life licensed representatives. Talk about positioning us for the future, right? So let's talk about some licensing improvements, teammates, to servicing in the RLC. The phone lines right now offer voice commands so that you can now call in with an IVR and ask for an update on your recruit, pass notices, licensing credit status, documents that have been received, life exam scheduling info, so you can get that right there from those voice commands when the phone is answered. And then let's talk a little bit about document upload and DocuSign, because in the US we've had the opportunity to do this for a short while with licensing apps, but now they are available and auto uploaded to VPS in Canada as well. Uplines, licensing specialists, and office managers may view all of those immediately, folks. We are getting better each and every day. All right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now let's talk about that RVP scorecard, because I'm telling you, it is important for our RVPs to know exactly where you stand and set your goals. But I'll tell you what, as we focus on the 200K takeover, we've gone ahead and increased the goal for you on the 2025 scorecard. So we now have increased it to from 10% to a 20% licensing goal that has been updated. You can get out there and see that, as well as your RVP base shop records, teammates. You can see in the top corner there, your life licensing targets. And I'll tell you, those updates, they're based on your actuals, and we reproject based on your progress throughout the year, those monthly goals, month in and month out. And then I want to make sure you don't forget about some key components that are available to you on POL now, so that you know where you stand, because it's an important component of your success to be able to understand to your peer group where you stand within this business. So check out Recruit to Code Tracker. Don't let that go by, and compare your base shop, your through first, to the best in your state or your province. Of course, we've got color-coded strengths and weaknesses, both green and red, so that you know the areas of success that you're experiencing and where do you need to spend some more time and focus, right? So there are really, teammates, 3 key leader resources out there that I want to make sure you know to use. Recruit Tracker, the life licensing tab with all that collateral under it, and of course your home office support team that is here to stand by your side every step that you take. In addition to that, for my Canada teammates, listen, I got some great news for life licensing because we have extended to June 30th, 2025, the provincial exam fee reimbursement. So leverage that and get more teammates licensed today than ever before. And then last but not least, I want to make sure I talk to you about an important notification. And this is new. Most of you are hearing this for the first time. We just had to execute on this based on an information security requirement, teammates. So the Payment Center for Licensing, the credit card payment, is the only way with which you can transfer money now back here to Primerica. So before, you used to email, mail, fax, payment forms, but those can no longer be processed. So all credit card payments of licensing fees must be made through the Payment Center, and that's effective this Wednesday, 12/18. So there will be more to come. Now, the Payment Center is available on both POL as well as the Primerica app. You saw the click paths there on that slide. And remember, this presentation will be uploaded on POL right there in the playbook immediately following the show today, so you can get all of these details that you need that I'm talking about briefly as I visit with you now. All right, so life insurance. Let's talk a little bit because Steve and team have come up with a new slogan for 2025, because when you are a Primerica Life champion, you are a titan of term. So let's talk about that word titan, because I'm telling you, yeah, isn't that good? I know it, I like it too. Titan means you are gigantic in size or power, and that you stand out for greatness of achievement, and that describes us perfectly here at Primerica. So we've delivered a few new components for you, starting with Quick Quote. Teammates, I want to make sure everybody knows it's available for the next gen existing policy Quick Quotes. As you know, you're familiar with in the past, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, right? You can look up an existing next gen policy, modify that coverage, and then save the quote or submit that policy change form. So that's out there and available under the Quick Quote app today. And then in addition, let's talk about end of terms. For those of you who have been around a little while and you got some end of terms that are coming due, we now have a digital end of term packet that is available. Absolutely. Simplifies the process. You can access that through the end of term manager on POL, teammates. It's an incredible digital solution. And of course, you can disable the paper forms that go out to your client as well. And you be the first one to contact them. Stay tuned into your notifications, check out that digital packet, and then reach out to your RSM today for more information about that. And then we have continued success with the Life Training Hub, which we delivered at convention this year. The Life Training Hub is focused on our newly life licensed teammates. And of course, it has all the resources needed to help them become active and productive after they obtain that life license. It focuses on the fundamentals, tons of information and field leaders represented there. But listen, there's a new component that I'm super excited about. We delivered it earlier, but first ever on POL, available in the Life Training Hub. And those are those Champion Challenge quizzes. Over 9,000 of those have been completed already. I am excited to see, yes. I'm excited to see our new teammates using those, but I think we have some seasoned veterans out there brushing up on their skills as well, so be sure you check that out. All right, this company was founded on buy term and invest the difference, and that's where financial freedom is realized, teammates. So I want to talk about our securities business. Of course, Glenn just set a goal as we were in Napa earlier this year, celebrating the success of our securities business of 50,000 securities licensed representatives. Yep. Who is in on that? Yep. That gives you a different business when you obtain not only life licensed reps, but securities licensed reps as well. And we want to walk with you every step of the way for you to get securities license or to increase the securities licenses within your base shop. And so we have been working with Kaplan, and there are major upgrades now available through the training, the teaching, the education, the study materials that Kaplan offers for the SIE teammates, including micro learning videos. These videos are powerful. There are over 120 short videos, like 3 minutes or less, focused on the study material that you need to know now. So the focused content, more emphasis on exam simulation, because we know that works to help you pass the test. There are additional practice questions. Practice, drill, rehearse. That's what practice questions do, 30% more. And an updated performance tracker so you know exactly where you are in the process of studying, where you need to double down, and when you're ready to take that test. Kaplan is committed to helping Primerica grow to 50,000 securities licensed representatives. Make sure you check all of that out on POL. And then, in addition to that, we've got some representatives who have recently passed their securities exam, represented on POL in the How to Pass Fast section, teammates. So listen to the not only motivational content from future RVPs who have recently passed, as well as RVPs, but understand what they did that worked to get that SIE test passed, as well as the 6, the 26, the 63, everyone who is out there passing and doing it successfully, we're reaching out to, because we want to get their tips and tricks available and ready for all of you to use as well. Now, in 2025, the Securities Licensing Blitz, I'll tell you, it's the largest we've ever done, so check this out with me, right? We've got, in the U.S. and Canada, 2 ways to qualify. In the U.S., you can pass those required exams, become active with PFSI, write $1,000 in securities production within 90 days, or you can pass the Series 65, become fit to sell, write $25,000 in managed account production in 90 days, and earn a $500 bonus in Canada, become activated with PFSL, write $1,000 in mutual fund in those same 90 days, and earn that $500 bonus. The deadline is June 30th for all of those. But you see those messenger bags right there? The first 400 in the U.S. will earn a messenger bag. The first 50 in Canada, teammates. Man, I want you to double down, and I want you to get your securities license. I want you to carry that bag around and show everybody the success that you are here at Primerica. And then really the third leg of our business is the mortgage business. I'll tell you what, teammates, we are getting ready for the market. Boy, they teased us earlier this year by decreasing those rates, right? But we are in position as mortgage licenses continue to increase in Primerica, so that when they do decrease, listen, credit card debt has never been higher than it is today. People need help to get out of debt. They can do that with a home equity loan. When they need purchase money, we want them to think about Primerica first and foremost. That means we need to be licensed and ready to take advantage of that. So here's a few incentives, both in the U.S. and Canada. Again, obtain your mortgage license after January 1st and close 2 loans within 120 days. Reps will get $300. Awards for RVP are $500 towards those licensing expenses. In Canada, personally refer clients for a mortgage review that results in 2 closed loans. You'll get a $300 bonus, and RVPs, a $2 million base shop and closed volume, earns you a $500 bonus. Man, does it just keep getting better at Primerica or what? Absolutely, teammates. All right, let's talk a little bit about technology. I'll tell you what, we are turning it up with CRM, our client relationship manager. The team has doubled down in 2024, and coming soon in test right now, you will be able to have a one-click into SAM 2.0. That link is going to be right there on the homepage. A new window will open up, and you can go fully into SAM 2.0 from your client, from CRM, to double down and understand what their investments are. Yep, absolutely. And then, of course, we have worked on notifications, because notifications are what help you to take action to stay on top of your business. And so we are increasing visibility into CRM activity by doubling down on those notifications. You can customize those for yourself as well. Every business philosophy is a little unique. So you want to make sure your notifications that you can activate work towards the goals that you have. So be sure you go out into preferences, CRM preferences, and set up the notifications, activate the notifications that you want to use, so that you're staying on top of all of your business via CRM. All right, let's talk about Rep Marketing Center, which is one of the coolest ways we have to communicate digitally with our clients as representatives in Primerica. And I'll tell you what, teammates, the success of this product is incredible, and it's a tribute to the relationships that you have built with your clients. Before I show you some of those numbers, though, I want to show you what's available, because we We have so many new campaigns. It's going to take me a second. I want you to hang with me here, right? So the new RMC financial education campaigns, look at these. 5 common credit mistakes, loud budgeting, right? Because it's important to budget. And think long-term for investments. Man, you educate your clients so well here at Primerica. And then we've got a couple holiday campaigns coming up. If you haven't enabled them, get them enabled today because Christmas is December 25th, and that's the Happy Holidays campaign. It is right around the corner. And then, of course, Happy New Year's on January 1st. All you have to do is check it out on RMC and look in your preferences to enable those today. And then we've got some business campaigns that are incredibly relevant as we approach and kick off 2025. Of course, IRA season in the U.S., RRSP season in Canada. We want to remind our clients that it is time. We got to max out those accounts to be fully vested for when we head into retirement. And then invest in your tax refund because, man, we don't want them to blow it, right? We want them to invest it and invest it with us to impact their financial freedom. And then 2025 retirement plan contribution limits. They're constantly changing, and we want to remind our clients of those changes so they know how they can maximize their benefit. I told you I got a lot of campaigns. Check out this next slide with me. Now, we've got a real estate agent recruiting campaign, right? It's a great time to recruit some real estate agents into Primerica. The 2025 First Quarter Solutions newsletter, which is our #1 most successful campaign. All you have to do is enable that campaign, set it and forget it. All 4 newsletters will go out to your clients, 1 every quarter. And then for our newly life licensed representatives, we got a ton of those. We got an I Am Life License campaign. And for our investments license, while licenses continue to increase, man, we are looking for a surge in 25. So we've got an I Am Investments License campaign as well. And then a few more holidays coming up to kick off the year. Of course, in January and February, we want to recognize and honor MLK Day on January 20th, President's Day on February 17th, and Family Day in Canada on that same date. So you have those campaigns there as well. I told you I had a ton, didn't I? Right? So there are so many ways with which you can stay in touch and communicate with your client. But really, teammates, the point is to create that lifetime relationship so that when they have an event in their life, when they need some help with their finances, the first thing they do is think of you and reach out to you. Now, here's the results of Rep Marketing Center, super high level, teammates. Over 17 million emails sent in 2024. We have a 52% open rate, teammates. Now, let me tell you what that means. See, industry average in financial services is 21%. You are far exceeding industry average, and that is your relationship. Congratulations. All right, team, let me talk about rep websites. All right, some new announcements here. I've got 3 key things, 3 changes, new rep website features. So now you can include your appointment scheduling link on your rep website. Yeah, that's awesome, right? You can add the opportunity landing page. You see that in that second red box circled there. So you can represent your opportunity meeting. People can click on that. They'll come on down to the opportunity meeting. We get success stories like that all the time when they use that website, that landing page. Now you can add it to your rep website. You can also add the How Money Works landing page link. You see that under the Learn More, as well as your My IBA, because listen, if somebody's ready, they might be ready in that moment. Why not complete that paperwork and get it right in, right? So great opportunities there, yep. And then My Primerica, which is our client portal, teammates. We've got a bunch of new announcements there as well. Your appointment link is now, you can add that, it is represented on that homepage. You can add that there too with Make an Appointment. You see that highlighted in red. And then I wanted to share with you the success of the MyPri reinstatement request. If you'll remember, I announced this in October that we released that within MyPri where clients can request reinstatements. Check this out. More than 2,000 reinstatement application mail requests to date via MyPrimerica digitally. Yeah. Pretty exciting to be doing business when it's not just you initiating it, right? Right? And then coming in Q1 2025, clients are going to be able to complete the reinstatement using DocuSign right there online. All right, teammates, my last MyPri announcement. We are excited about this. Clients now can see their full investment account number. If you're in the investments business, you know how meaningful this is to you, right? Because your clients have been calling you. They just it was masked until those last 4 digits. And now the whole number's there. Now there's a little I there, so they have to click on it for the number to expand and see the whole thing. Everybody's pretty familiar with that icon. For security purposes, it'll be the 4, but they can click on it, see that whole number, so that when they're placing a call, when they have questions that they want to ask you, they can very easily see their full account number. That is available on My Primerica, an easy one-click option. Teammates, is that exciting or what? Yeah. We are focused at Primerica to continue to deliver for you, to deliver for distribution. That is recruiting and licensing in our products, life insurance, investment, mortgage, client solutions, the front end of our business, auto and home, putting money back on the table to enable folks to afford the right amount of life insurance. And then, of course, through our technology. Listen, teammates, we're not striving to be the industry standard. We're striving to exceed that standard, just like you do each and every day, on our way to 200,000 life licensed representatives, 50,000 securities licenses. Teammates, this is all about leaders building leaders, and we need you to do it today. All right, guys, what an incredible show. And listen, I am jacked up and excited. Our next speaker is a new $1 million earner. So welcome to the stage, the incredible SNSD Nikole Galanes.
Oh, you guys, love you. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here today. It never stops impacting me when I think about the first time I walked into this theater, when I think about the first time we stepped on a stage, the first time we were in a room like this, or really in any Primerica room, and just the magnitude of who we're surrounded by, right? I'm sitting with Bill Whittle and Mike Evans, people that are, right? Like, give them a hand. I mean, their heart, their leadership. These are the people that books are written about. And we are in the privilege of this being our peer group, right? It's just like breathtaking still to this day. I gotta be honest with you guys. And so that never really stops affecting me. And I have to tell you guys, I'm just so thankful for a couple things. Of course, Primerica, of course, our head office executives and all of that stuff. But I'm thankful for faith in ourselves, faith in the company, faith to kind of step out before we knew it would work. We knew it would work for others, but would it work for us? That was a big question, right? We were kids. I was 19 years old. My husband, Leo, was in his 20s when we started, and we did not have existing business success, right? We were not born with a silver spoon. Our parents had businesses, but we're Greek, and so they were like gritty, self-employed. They had banquet halls, they had like grocery stores. My dad worked 7 days a week. We did not grow up seeing what a system looked like and what scaling a business looked like. So this was all new for us. You know, we're so thankful for support and the people who pushed us, like Mike said, and not just pushed us trying to help us. Maybe they pushed us by doubting us a little bit. You guys have any of those? Yeah? I'm so thankful for the ones who said, you're crazy to leave school. Are you making any money yet? I'm so thankful for those people. And I'm thankful for our Team Unstoppable, the Coobs, who are our leaders and our mentors, for our team, the $1 Million team, and really for the partnership that Leo and I were able to build a family and a business side by side. Man, for all of you who are wanting to kind of combine those two parts of your life. I'm not going to tell you it's always easy, but it's so fulfilling because you build a family business and it changes who you are in the process, right? So today I stand in front of you as number 141, and I got to tell you something exciting. Yes, it's so exciting. With this crazy ring, which is insane, you know, so proud of our team. But the conversations between all the new $1 million earners, because you know, we do all know each other, we're mostly friends. It'll always be, congratulations, Whitney, 1 million. And her reply will be, yes, let's go to 2, right? And that is the dynamic with all of us. We are crazy in the best possible way. And so that fits as we look at the end of the year and really how we're gonna look at 2025 and what's gonna come next. And so my theme for today, guys, is we need to establish a new baseline. And I believe 2024 did that for us. It is a new baseline. It redefines what's possible. But you need to know, we all need to know that new levels require new mental toughness. Right? New levels require new mental toughness. It is not that life all gets easy when you start to become successful. You will still have challenges. They're going to be different level challenges, and you're going to get better and better and tougher to continue to thrive and grow above that, right? So 2024 successes, and I'm talking about income milestones across the company, the corporation, everything, right? We got an $8 million earner. How insane is that? But these are not moments we're going to look back on as the peak. Hey, you remember back in the glory days, we had $21 million earners? No, that is not where we are going with this. This is the new baseline. This is the new norm that allows us to build upon it for what's to come in 2025. You guys with me? Yes, and that's how I keep seeing it. And I look at this, guys, kind of like when I became a mom. Do we have any parents watching here in the crowd as well? You can cheer for it. Yeah, we love our kids, right? We have 3. They're going to watch this at home, which is pretty cool. Makes mom feel like a hero, you know. But I remember when our firstborn, his nickname's Taco, kind of silly, but Taco, all right? He took his first step. Y'all remember the first step of your first child? Yeah, it was big, right? But the next day and a week later, if all we did was expect them to take one step, there'd be a problem. And I think so often in the business, we're looking at like, let me run these numbers, and then let me just keep running these numbers. And that's a stagnant mindset, right? We need to expect our businesses and ourselves to continue to grow and to develop. My kid needs to learn how to run, right? And then how to play sports and to keep building on this until, God willing, he can't build any further. And it's the same for all of us. Why do we expect new year, same numbers? Oh, I'm gonna run a 30 by 30 base. That's all? If you already did it, you can't keep running that, right? You gotta grow the hierarchy, you gotta grow the business. You have to grow who you are so that you can have progress each and every day. You guys with me on that? And I realized something, you know, in the years with the kids and then COVID and this and that, I recognized that my happiness is aligned with growth. Okay? It's just who I am. It is a fact of life. It is not about income. It is about growth in general. But income is something we can measure in business, right? And so I want to talk to you about numbers for just for a second. In the last 12 months, the Pats on our team grew by 51%. Okay, Edward and Mono Ortiz grew by 97%. We, with an old business, all right, grew by 46%. Guys, we reclaimed a diamond and added 3. That's kind of crazy, right? Yeah. But what about the non-RVPs? Anybody in this room not an RVP yet? You could cheer for yourself, cheer for yourself. People at home too, okay? So I want to talk to you about the people in our base shop that are just like you. We got Victoria and Bogdan, they're up 72%. Mason and Vidi, 8,993%. Tony and Rosa, 200%. But you know what, guys? They're not doing superstar numbers by their own measure or the company's. The reason I want you to look at the percent of growth is because most of you future RVPs are hitting the end of the year and you feel bad about your results. I know it. I know deep down you're like, oh, the company's great, but I'm not doing what I can do or what I should do. And I want to encourage you guys to look up your numbers and to see not the production numbers, that's the step, but I want you to see the percent of growth. Because if the growth percentage is high, you got to have faith in compounding of those efforts. Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to give you some more numbers because I'm a little bit of the math nerd, all right? Hear me out here. You're going to figure out your number and then you're going to see. What happens with just a 30% growth rate? I just showed you examples of 40 to 97 to 8,000%. 30%, if you are making $50,000 today, in 20 years at 30% per year growth, you are at, take a guess, 1.9 million per year. Okay, when I look at POL and I see Willie and I see Miguel and I see these incomes, part of me, my brain's like broke, and I'm like, where does that money come from? But the other part says it's totally logical, because if you're making $300,000 per year today, at just a 30% growth rate in 20 years, it's 11 million a year. Okay? Compounding growth, compounding mindset, compounding vision, compounding effort. It is not just on our money. It's not just the rule of 72 in our accounts. It's our businesses as well. You may not have a bad business. You may have a young business or a business without a strong enough growth rate. So again, when we look at 2025, man, I am all about, we can maintain that same growth rate. We didn't kill ourselves. And if we keep doing it at that rate, guys, we're a $5 million earner in 5 years. It is not, it is not like, oh my God, I can't achieve this. Everybody from the new rep, if you focus on the growth rate, you can achieve it. Because growth is not automatic, it is a conscious choice. Greatness is a conscious choice, a little bit chance, mostly choice. And to break through your personal belief barriers is a very conscious choice. We had to face that, everyone's gonna have to face that. But when you do that, when you break through what you thought was possible, you're gonna achieve things that you couldn't even imagine, right? We got some unique things happening right now. We have senior leaders staying in the game voluntarily. We got home office executives, are the leaders for the last how many years, staying in the game by choice to achieve more greatness. I believe that puts us into a position that we've never seen before, right? If you think about that baseline, record comp, record milestones, record production, record corporate success, this is our norm. But guys, it's not just about income, it's about legacy. Where do you want to be in 10, 20, 30 years? Guys, what kind of life do you want to live? What kind of leaders do you want to be? I know that for us, we want to be engaged. I want to hopefully learn to dance like Mike Evans by that time, you know what I mean? Got to stop wearing heels. But we want to be alive and vibrant, contributing to our teams, to our communities. Anybody else want to feel that way? Yeah. And so for me, guys, Primerica gets us there. But it's going to demand more than effort. It's gonna demand a toughness, a grittiness, a tenacity, man. When those people, when you get the chargebacks, when you get the quitting, when you get the no-shows, man, it's gotta just go right off of you. And you go harder and harder and harder and continue to use it as fuel. Because what got us here can't get us there. Right? I read that this year, and then Susan Chana said it to me on the phone. I go, where'd you hear that? I just read that. And it was the thing echoing in my mind when Leo and I decided to open a new office and build a new base shop, was what got us here cannot get us there. And we know we want to be there, guys, right? So what's next? A decision for all of us together to go for that 200K takeover, to get our part of it, right? To build bigger teams, but not to focus so much on where we've fallen short or our production numbers, but to focus on capturing growth, maintaining growth as we stay consistent through these decades, right? Because I believe the greatest days are absolutely ahead of us, and together, guys, we will make history again. Thank you so much, and happy holidays to everybody.
Please welcome Peter Schneider.
Thank you. Thank you. Boy, that was great hearing from Nikole. The best part was that she didn't dance, and so then I didn't have to dance. That sort of broke the chain. It's such a privilege to be part of our year-end program, our appropriately called kickoff show. And I want to start, I always focus on corporate matters, and I want to start with the home office and really the special relationship between the home office and the field. I don't think there's anything like it in business out there. And I know if you're in the field, you want to show ways to show your support of the home office. And I know in the home office, every day we just love working for the field. And a number of years ago, we decided we were going to set aside December and call it Home Office Appreciation Month. It means so much to our employees to hear from you. We take your messages that you send, we stream them on POL. It really brightens everyone's day. I know we have some home office employees here in the audience today, and I know they watch that. There are two ways if you want to participate. It goes through the end of December. Number one, you can log on to POL, to the Primerica app, click the Home Office Appreciation link, and you can send a message, a photo, a video, whatever you want. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way.
You can just write a note, and we have the addresses up here of the home office, the head office in Canada, and NBL. And I hope you take the time to do that. You know, giving back is not just about us, it's also about what goes on outside of Primerica. And every year we have the Primerica Foundation makes a special year-end gift. Usually we focus, and we do this year too, on food insufficiency. The foundation, by the way, makes gifts all year long, over $2 million a year. But at the end of this year, we decided to give to Feeding America $50,000, and then to Feeding Food Banks in Canada, $20,000. Here in the home office, we also do a can-a-thon where we bring in food for the Salvation Army. We just did about 80,000 cans. And you know, there's a little story. There was one of our employees, they're wearing, like I often do, their Primerica logo gear, and they ran into someone who was a bell ringer from the Salvation Army. And they said, "You're with Primerica." And tears came to that bell ringer's eyes because they said, "What you have no idea what you do every year to make a difference in the communities we serve." And that just made us feel great. My next topic, sort of looking forward to 2025. We just had an election cycle in this country, and I always say, my politics is Primerica, you know? And a better way of saying it might be, everyone's politics is Primerica, because the fact is we have common ground with every political party, every candidate out there. They want the middle income families that we serve every day to succeed. And when I looked at the election and the results, and I'm not talking about whether your candidate won or lost, or my candidate won or lost. Again, my candidate's Primerica. That's always on the ballot as far as I'm concerned. But I want to convey, when you look at and analyze what's going on, my takeaway is what we do matters more than ever. It was clear that financial concerns was a major agenda for all of the voters. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, first of all, opportunity has no political affiliation. I love this chart. It's a little hard to see if you're just looking online, but hopefully you can grab a copy of this. Look back to 1949, Truman. And if you look at all the presidential administrations from then till now, everyone has seen the market expand. In fact, the average over that period of time, you talk about 75 years, average over a 12% return. And so where we can make a difference is to make sure folks don't have their head in their sand, but are doing something to support their families and move their wealth forward. You know, buy term and invest the difference is a winning strategy. Doesn't know whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or the last time you voted in an election was for Truman. It doesn't matter. It all works if you follow that formula. And so I hope that's one of your takeaways. The second takeaway is that what we do lines up with the concerns that folks have. You know, they always do all these polls after the election. And when you look at the money issues in the ranking, number one, cost of living inflation, well, we give financial advice. Number two, growth in income. We have a business opportunity. Housing costs, Primerica mortgage, interest rates, investments, job securities, supplementing your income, college costs, 529 plans. What we do makes a difference in the households, and that's what people care about. And my third takeaway from this election is Primerica is becoming an influential voice. They cited all these news articles were talking about our household budget index. I hope you follow that. You've heard me talk about it, which tracks purchasing power in a household. And if you go to my next slide here, you see they cited to our financial security monitor. I'm just reading from this, 3/4 of middle-income families said they are cutting back on non-essentials, according to the most recent survey by Primerica. And that's because our opinion matters because of who we serve. And increasingly, we're being sought out for thought leadership. And it's both it's a financial security monitor, it's a household budget index, but it's also, we're doing white papers in which we're delving deeper into issues to try and influence public policy. But it also enhances your credibility as a member of our sales force. We also get visibility from that. You know, you want to be, it used to be, we didn't want Primerica out there. We just did everything under the radar. Well, we live in a world in which you better be out there. You better write your own narrative. And we're being sought out for that and getting much more media attention. Just through the third quarter of 2024, we had almost 250 media hits on major publications. You see Glenn here. He's a great spokesperson for our company. And this is all part of a massive effort to make sure we're writing our own narrative. And a big part of that is social media. So if you're not participating in Price Social or taking advantage of the social media opportunities we give to you, please make it part of your business. We encourage you to use it because, number one, it's compliant, but also we know it's working. And right now we have in December a campaign, we're calling it 31 Days of Fun and Finances. It's sort of a countdown to the new year. It also countdown to the holidays that are coming up. It's a perfect time to convey to your clients and your relationships to just take stock of their finances. Every day there's a new tip. A lot of these are interactive, and you can grab it on the corporate channel and download it to your own social media feed. And it's fun, but it's also finances. I mean, Primerica is a fun company, right? But what we do is important, and it combines both of those. So as we look forward to 2025, we're going to continue to expand our reputation function and everything we do on both social and thought leadership. And the two areas that we're really going to tackle right off the bat is, number one, YouTube. YouTube has become much more important. If you look at this slide right here, YouTube is much more important than it used to be because Google bought YouTube. And so when you do Google searches, what's coming up? YouTube videos. We know that, and so we've engaged a consultant. We have a strategy to make a difference on that. And second, we know social is not a one-way street. It goes both ways. And so we have a social listening function that will engage with members of the public who send us direct messages. If there's someone unhappy online, we'll reach out to them. We put our ear to the ground so we know the conversation about Primerica. Very sophisticated. We're doing it this year very successfully. We get back quickly, by the way, to people who write to us, but we're going to expand that in 2025. And finally, an area that we're going to go into, this is a geography change for us. We're going to bring everything we're doing in the U.S. and reputation, and we're going to make sure we do as much as we can in Canada. So you Canadians, you know, we took the kinks out here in the U.S., and now we're going to bring all the best to Canada. We've hired an employee who's going to be devoted to Canadian reputation, working with the team here. We're going to work on search engine optimization, make sure those Google results are good. It's going to be in French as well. And we want to make a difference in Canada. We know that perception and image of Primerica is important both for us in our public policy, but also for you in growing your business. You know, there's nothing more exciting than a new year. 2025 is already going to shape up as a great year for Primerica. I'm looking forward to it and want you along for the journey.
Please welcome Bill Whittle.
Great. Well, I'm excited about it being here, especially this time of season. It's always fun. I always get excited this type of year. I know Blake, my son, he loves this type of year. He takes his kids and they go travel and they do all types of different things with the family. And I love that time of the year too. But I love being able to review. We do a thing in our day planner called Lesson Learned, Changes Made. And as you learn from the past year, it gives you things you can take into the new year. And I think that's really exciting thing to do at this time of the year. It's not always the most pleasant thing to do, but I think it's one of the most necessary things to do. But I'm going to bring you up with a couple of dates with a couple of things. Glenn Williams had called a meeting, and he was talking about that, and it's an exciting thing. You saw our stock go up like crazy. But they went to meet with all the corporate executives, people that finance and back us and invest a lot of money in our company. And they were asking Glenn a very, very important question, a question you maybe ought to ask yourself about your business, about your personal growth and your business growth. He said, how did y'all grow that much in this past year? And what is your plan to continue the growth, to make sure you have a growth in the next year? Because they plan on investing in us. Well, anybody invest in you, they want to know, do you have a plan for growth? So I stepped back and started thinking about that at the exact same time. I just was reading another book by a good friend of mine, John Maxwell. I'm sure you all know John, and I've had a chance to develop a relationship with John over the last 45 years. I've supported his ministries since the very beginning of it. And one of the things that John talks about was one of the initial people that helped him to start his journey to leadership. And he's known as the top leadership trainer in the entire world. He's written more books, made more money, did more things. He started off in the Christian world, then he made the transition into the secular world because he felt like he'd make more of an impact. Now his goal didn't change, to influence and direct people and lead people to Christ and etc. But he did it now more the secular because he knew he could reach more people. But then the guy set him down. This was 45 years ago, 50 years ago, I guess. And John tells the story. The guy said, John, what is your personal growth plan? And John had to look at him because the guy was also a believer and he didn't want to lie to him. Probably did want to lie to him, he just didn't lie to him. And he said, I don't have one. He said, don't you think it'd be important to get one? If you're going to be leading other people, don't you think you need to lead yourself and grow yourself? Do you have a personal growth plan? And so, good lesson for us parents, okay? And so John said, yeah, at that point in time, he embarked upon a personal growth plan. So that hit me hard. So I called an emergency meeting with the encouragement of two of my key national sales directors of Buster Torian and Kelly Case. And they said, Bill, you need to call a meeting. And I said, well, I just don't know. We have so many meetings where the guys show up. Well, I was a little hesitant. He said, Bill, that's not you. That's not who you are. Blow the bugle. So I did, you know, and I had a massive campaign. One of my guys, Corey Rogers, I said, I want you blasting out constantly, day in, day out, day in, because I wanted to have the best attendance for this thing that we possibly can to make sure we had the most impact. Then I also made sure that any meeting you have, Bill Hybels, I got this from the ministry, he said it needs to be meaningful and memorable. I said, okay, then what am I going to call this meeting to make it be very impactful? I said, well, everything I've been studying, everything I've been doing, I talked to Glenn Williams about this. I said, I'm going to call it Growth Day. It's the exact same time the company was coming out. I said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Growth Day. I want to encourage you maybe to do the same thing. So I put in literally 80 to 100 hours of preparation. Now, we're only going to go that day from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock. And I was going to rock that thing, okay? And I had Glenn do a video. I had other videos coming from different places. I had guest speakers coming. I had all kinds. That's not true. I only had one guest speaker, but I had all the different people on video because I was going to do the entire thing because I knew I could deliver, you know, if I had all this information. So then Blake was going to deliver a message. How are we going to move the hierarchy? He and I are working real close together right now. And so he had it all put together, what we're going to do, social media, all the different things are planned. We had a plan to deliver the message that we were planning to deliver, which was growth, right? So it went very well, but one of the only speaker that I did have at that meeting was our pastor, Pastor Mike Heyman. I go to a very large non-denominational church, but at one point in time, our head pastor there left and went to another church, and I still support his ministry because he's still part of our group ministry. And so I said, Mike, how did you take this church? When Dino left, the church's numbers went way down. He was the youth minister at the time. I said, I want you to tell my RVPs, our leadership team, how they need to grow, because he went through that time. Then COVID hit and the church dropped down. I said, how did you bring it back? Because we shrunk, and then we went to where now we're having 3,000 plus people 3 times every Sunday morning. We have these 3 times. 8 different campuses, just getting ready to open another campus. I'm very blessed and honored that I get a chance to support them financially. And so we're just growing like crazy. I said, what is the message you could deliver to my vice president? Because it's all the same. Leadership is leadership. That's a fact. John Maxwell says everything rises and falls based on leadership. I said, I need to develop more leaders. Now I'm bearing my soul, okay? So what was my thing? My thought was, I'm gonna bring them in, challenge them, give them all the stuff they need. I put all this time and effort. I had slides, I had handouts. I was ready to roll. And I flat was gonna light that sucker up. And then I started thinking, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm looking out the window, I'm not looking in the mirror. I said, what are you gonna do, Bill Whittle? What are you gonna do? I know you got 45 years experience, you've done all this and this, that, and that doesn't mean anything. What are you gonna do? What is your personal growth program? So I started thinking about this, and about the exact same time, I said, okay, I'm gonna get all this material. I went online. I knew about the Growth Day course with Brandon Bashir, the top influencer in the world. I started studying different people like Ed Millett, who's his partner in that program. I got a growth coach. It costs a stupid amount of money. These guys mentor billionaires and pro athletes stuff. I said, I'm hiring that person. I started taking all these courses. I submitted to John Maxwell's leadership training course, mentoring course. I told my daughter, I said, wear me out. I want to get so good. I want to grow myself so much that when I lead the charge, other people's got an example. Modeling is the #1 people lead to learn. The kids don't need another lecture, they need a leader. Well, I hadn't provided leadership. I was getting a lot of talking, but I wasn't doing the leading that I needed to do. So I looked at my business for 40 years, 40 years, I'd grown my business. I'd promoted RVPs. I always grew. And all of a sudden, the last 4 years, I stopped growing. I said, well, Bill, you had a cardiac arrest. You died. You came back to life. You did all that kind of stuff. You got an excuse. That's exactly what I had, an excuse. It was an excuse. So I started thinking, I'm not doing that, right? COVID, that's an excuse. It's not a reason. It's an excuse. I said, I'm not doing that. But nothing was moving my business. I was making a lot of money. I was making money. The stock was growing. My income was growing off but I wasn't growing my business. I wasn't producing the RVPs. I didn't come here for income. I came here for impact. I wasn't feeling good about who I was as a man. And so I started looking at myself in the mirror, not out the window, in the mirror. Like Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror, said, I'm not happy the way you are right now. You got to do something about that. Now, people think, well, that's weird. You're 74 years old. You got this, you got that. That doesn't matter if you're not happy with who you are and what you're doing. And my impact here on life is to develop and help other people to win. And so I started looking back and I started developing all this stuff. And Pastor Mike got up there, and his whole message, he gave 10 points about growth. And one of the points was the fig tree. Now, it's one of my favorite stories, but walking down and all of a sudden the master sees the fig tree, and he goes up to it and says, excuse me, aren't you a fig tree? And the fig tree, I don't know if fig tree spoke back, but the fig tree had all these leaves, but no figs. Oh my God, hit me like a ton of bricks. I've got all these leaves in my life, but I'm producing no figs. The Lord expects us to grow. I wasn't growing. I wasn't growing me on the inside to grow and develop other people on the outside. So I had to start thinking, I've got to get my person. So I started working so hard on this stuff, and I'm so excited. I got a whole new energy and So let me give you a quick point. I was listening to a quick podcast, and I came across this thing. A guy's named Anthony Truck, and I encourage you to see if you can go online and get this thing. I got to go real fast here, but I think you'll get a lot out of this. And so the title of it, when you're looking for the podcast, is Redefining Your Why. Now, you know Glenn's done a great thing on this. We all talk about the why. People put all their picture up on that, but they don't do anything about it. The Bible says, do not be hearers of the word, be doers. Man, I'm reading the tapes, I'm listening to all this, I'm going to seminars, I'm reading books, thousands of hours, and yet doing nothing. I wasn't producing lots of leaves, but no figs. I didn't want the Lord to look at me and say, zap, like he did the fig tree, right? So this story, Anthony was saying when he went to college, he played college football at University of Oregon. And so as his freshman year, He was going to do his sophomore year, obviously, from your freshman year. And so he was dating this girl, and they actually ended up getting engaged. That didn't work out because when you're 18, 19, you're kind of brain dead at that point in time, so you don't know what you're doing. But he had proposed to her, right? And so she's saying, I want to know who your real father was. So he called his grandmother, and he said, who was my real father? And she said, well, I promised your mother I'd never tell you that, ever. And I gave her my word. So he said, okay. But the fiance pushed him and said, no, you got to find out who that is. So he caved in, you know, like most of us men are weenies. And so he caved in. And so finally, he found out that this guy, he was living actually in Marietta, Georgia. And so he is at the University of Oregon, freshman, getting ready to go into sophomore. You called him, and he said, look, I would like, he said, yes, I don't know, I don't think it's your mom. Anthony's a black gentleman, and this guy, his other name was an Italian name. He said, well, I'm not Italian. And Anthony said, okay, I married, Anthony's mom was a white woman, and he said, but you're a black. He said, so it wasn't two white people, Italian, white, I'm black, so something ain't right here unless somebody stole me out of the hospital. So make a long story short, Anthony found out that the guy, this was the guy's real mom. He was an African-American guy here in the Atlanta area. So he said, look, I'd like to get a chance to meet you as my real father. And the guy said, I'd love to meet you, and we can catch back up. So to make a long story short, he gets off the phone, goes and tells his fiance, she says, do you thinking about what you just finished saying? You're going to get this guy to come in, meet you, because it's only 5 hours. They were fixed to play Mississippi State, first game of the season. Morgan was coming here to play Mississippi State. And so she said, do you realize what you're doing? You're going to get him here to be proud of you. You're not even a starter. You're going to be sitting on the bench. She said, and he said, you're right. Now think, he had a goal initially to be a starter as a linebacker at Oregon, but he didn't have a why. The why wasn't enough to move him to do the things he needed to do when he needed to do it to accomplish what he said he wanted to do, but now he had a new why. He had a redefinition of what his why is. So he went to the coach, and he asked the coach, what I need to do to start. He said, that ain't happening. That's Dave's job. He said, I didn't ask you that. What I need to do to start. He said, well, I'm telling you up front, that ain't happening. He said, well, just hypothetically, if it did happen, what would I have to do? He said, well, first of all, you'd have to be able to convince me, show me as a linebacker coach that I could go to the other coaches and the coach staff, them not laugh me out of the place and think I'm crazy because I'm going to put you in there again ahead of a fifth-year starter. That ain't happening. He said, but if you did, this is what you'd have to do. You'd have to show up every day. You'd have to work hard. You'd have to gain weight. You'd have to gain speed. You have to do this. He said, okay, you're telling me that's what's required of me if I want to hit this. Now, what do you have? He still had the same goal, but he had a different why. He had to redefine his why. Then he had a motivation. So in the Times, he had an anchor. It's called an anchor why. You're anchored to it. I looked at me. What was it? I wasn't anchored. For the first time in my career, I stopped being anchored. I listened to other people. Oh, Bill, you need to enjoy. You need to do this. You need to do that. You know, you've had this. You've had that. BS. That ain't my mission. That wasn't what I wanted to accomplish in my life. So I said I needed to drop anchor. You know what I was doing? I was floating. Some of y'all feel the same way. You know you're floating in this. There was no reason. There's no true compelling reason to get up every day and do the things. Be married and a slave to your calendar when you want to do things. It don't matter how you feel, what you want to do. What is it required for you to do? And so what he said was, I started doing all those things. I knew he was going to come see me play. He had a new why. And he got disciplined about it, and he ended up becoming a starter that next year. And when the dad came to see him play, he felt so good about himself because his dad, the first time he met him, he saw his son play. That was his compelling reason. That was his redefined why. So I want to challenge you going into this year, the year 2025. Please do what I've done. Get that redefined. Get your goal. You don't need to change your goal. You just probably need to change your why. We don't need to talk about it. If it's not moving you, if it's when you say, well, I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like, hey, let me tell you something. Don't be tied to your emotions. That's not what moves you. Be tied to what your why is, and be tied to what your goal. Your why should be tied to that goal, and then your calendar, you should be tied. You should be a slave to your calendar. Your calendar should be a slave to your goal, to your why. And if you do that, and if we can all look at each other and say, let's go grow, this is going to be a phenomenal year. So I love y'all. Have a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bill. What an incredibly powerful message. Also, thanks to Nikole and Mike, our other field speakers, as well as Julie and Peter. Everybody has delivered. Give them a hand if you would for delivering powerful, powerful messages today. So we've heard the information, we've experienced the inspiration, but none of that matters until we create transformation. It's going to take change, just as you heard Bill talking about just a minute ago. And you know, transformation starts not with a why like Bill was talking about, it's a little different, but a why now. Why is it that this moment, right now, as we begin 2025 in just about 15 days, that's going to be our 49th year in business. We're starting our 49th year in business on February 10, 2025. Can you believe that? Now, why on earth would a company in business almost 50 years have their greatest year now instead of sometime in the past? Because that's what we're having. We're having our greatest year in 2024 until 2025. And so you got to know why that's going to happen. You got to know why that can happen right now. And so I'm going to give you 5 reasons why it's going to happen right now. Number 1 is we're building on record success. Our starting point is greater than it's ever been. I'm telling you, we've never had the privilege of starting with this much momentum and this much confidence in our track record, because after you continue to put the numbers on the scoreboard time after time, you start to build up some belief that it can happen for you. It can happen again. You see success all around you. I'm telling you, we're starting and building on record success. The second reason is the need for everything we do at Primerica is greater in 2025 than it's ever been before. Now, isn't that amazing? We just had a record year in 2024. Biggest year ever. And we focused on the year. You might remember under the Decade of Dominance logo, our focus for the year was seize our opportunity. We looked around us and said the opportunity, the need around us is bigger than it's ever been. And we had a record year, but the need grew faster than we did. As we start the new year, the need for everything we do, and you can put the list together. Doesn't matter whether it's protection, investments, get out of debt, consolidate and accelerate debt through a mortgage. All of our client solutions are the biggest need of all, our opportunity. Every single thing that we do, there's a greater need for it as we head into the brand new year than there's ever been in the history of this company. That's pretty amazing. The third thing is our financial solutions to meet those needs are better than they've ever been. Just look down the product list, y'all. I'm telling you, our Next Gen Life product is the best product in the industry. There is not a life insurance product anywhere that's as good as the life insurance products we offer to families. You realize that? The same is true of our investment products. We have more. We have more breadth and more depth in our investment offerings. We've got great mortgage relationships to get out of debt. It doesn't matter what solution we bring, okay, it's better than it's ever been before, and nothing's better when you look at the track record than our opportunity. You see, that's the next bullet. That's the next reason, is because the Primerica business system is the most powerful in North America. There is absolutely nothing to compare with what we offer. Just look at the track record and the way our opportunity is growing and improving. I mean, right now we're coming up any day now on $5,000, $100,000 earners. We've got a record $150 million earners. We got Willie and Lorena who are making $8 million a year in cash compensation. There is nothing out there that compares with the unlimited opportunity we have. It's just like our products. It's breadth and depth. You got to know that right now there's something special. This is a special moment. But really the number one thing we have that nobody else has is we have the best leadership. We have the strongest leadership in the business. You experienced it on today's program. You got a taste of the great field leadership we have. We have more leaders with more experience and more success than we've ever had before. They're more prepared to help you. And they're doing exactly what Bill talked about. They're models, they're role models of exactly the kind of behavior that's needed to succeed this year. Now, when I look at it logically, that gives me a lot of confidence. Now, you got that emotional element Bill was just talking about. But when you look at the logical side of the business, there's never been a better argument for why you and your family need to succeed at Primerica than there is today. But you know what? Something else a transformation requires, in addition to a why now, is a transformation requires action. Let me leave you today with 5 things I believe you need to be doing if you're going to take advantage of this special moment that we have as we end one year and start another year. Here's what I think y'all do, your game plan. First of all, you need to shatter records in December. You need to close December strong. You need to use every one of those 15 days that's left to create a new record, set something you've never done before as we close out this new year. Then you need to accelerate into January. Now, ain't that something? You're going to do the best you've ever done until next month when you're going to accelerate and go even faster, grow even bigger. That's the whole concept that we've heard today from our great field leaders of continuous improvement, of getting better, of challenging ourselves, doing it for the right reason. That's exactly what we need to do in these 2 months. I believe to help you do that, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution for you here. You've heard me say before, my wife Karen claims that I'm the greatest New Year's resolutionist in the world. I can make New Year's resolutions better than anybody else as long as it's for other people, not me. That's what she tells me. She said, Glenn, you can make them, but you make them for somebody else, not for you. So I'm going to follow up on that and make a New Year's resolution or 2 from you. I believe what you ought to do is you ought to relaunch all the incentives as if they had never existed before today. You need to go back to your team and you need to be talking about the field training bonus. I believe it is the single most effective incentive that we have is our field training bonus. Another great one RVPs ought to be participating in every quarter is field equity. But then you've got the list. You've got all our incentive trips, our recognition programs, our monthly bonuses. You've got promotions. You know, I wish after this is over, we'll sit back in the back and have a sandwich with Bill and Mike and Nikole and the home office team, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. One of the things I'm going to ask Bill, and maybe Mike too, if he remembers back in the days when the only incentive we had was promotions and a T-shirt. That was it. We didn't have any trips. We didn't have any bonuses. We didn't have anything. And this company ran on the incentives of promotions. You know, one of the things I'm excited about is we focus on leaders, building leaders, is that we're going to focus again on promotions at every level. We're going to have people fighting for promotions in the last 2 weeks of this year and all of next year. Relaunch those incentives like they're brand new. The next thing is cast a bigger vision. You got to voice activate where you're going to be. You got to talk about it before it's going to happen. You need to be casting a huge vision of the kind of success you're going to achieve along with your team in 2025. And the last thing is reproduce leadership. That is leaders building leaders. You see, leaders require teams. Teams require teammates. And the way you build a team is through the 4 fundamentals at Primerica. You heard it from Mike Evans: recruit, field train, license, and promote. That's exactly what we need to do at this moment to take advantage of this very special time. You see, I believe it's all in place, and I believe it's all up to us, and I believe right now is the perfect time for you to succeed at the Primerica opportunity, not just for the company, not just for all the fun we have together, not just for all the incentives and the bonuses, but for all the people that are depending on you. That's why you got in this business. Deliver for those people. You know, this is also a special time of year when we focus on our faith, we focus on our family, we focus on our friends. You know, all of those are relationships. Whether it's your faith, your relationship with your Maker, your family, the relationship with those you're related to, or all the other relationships that you have in Primerica and in life, I want to challenge you to prioritize those relationships in your life. Celebrate them during the next couple of weeks in a special time of the year. Count your blessings in the new year. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. And as you celebrate, may God bless you, your family, and your team. And in 2025, may God continue to bless Primerica.